What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Wisconsin Investor Podcast. I'm your host, Corey Raymond. Excited to bring you guys another amazing guest today, as usual. Before I do that, though, as I do on almost every episode, I'm going to give a little plug to our sponsor, Wisconsin Discount Properties, today. Every week, guys, we're putting deals in your inbox at 6 a.m. Monday morning. So if you're on our buyers list, you already know that. If you're not on our buyers list, that means you're missing out on opportunities. A lot of the complaints or struggles investors have is, how do I find more deals, right? Corey and I were actually just talking a little bit about that before we hit record of getting more deal flow. Well, we got it for you if you're buying in Northeast Wisconsin. So head to the website, wisconsindiscountproperties.com, put your information in, and we'll get you added to the buyers list quickly, and you'll start seeing those deals. It's free, so you'll start seeing those deals in your inbox right away. With that, let me welcome in my other Corey here. Corey, I'm not even going to try to pronounce your last name, so if you can do that for the audience, please do.
Sounds good. Corey Paszkiewicz.
Paszkiewicz.
Paszkiewicz, okay. Yep, tricky one.
Okay, what's the heritage of the Paszkiewicz?
It's a little bit of everything, but mostly Polish. My grandma has a lot of different mixes in there, but primarily Polish.
Okay, I thought so. I grew up in Pulaski, big time Polish. We got Polka Fest every year. You know, that's a big time Polish place, and so I thought that might have been a little Polish, but I don't want to assume. Yeah. You know, well, Corey, tell everybody a little bit about you. You're down in the Oconomowoc area, correct?
Yep. Yeah. So we moved out to Oconomowoc. I primarily invest in the Milwaukee market. Cool. I've been investing 20 years or so. Back then when I started, we didn't have all the podcasts and social media and how to learn what we do now. So I kind of had to figure out a lot of everything myself the hard way. I didn't have wealthy parents or wealthy family. I didn't have people really investing in real estate. So for me, when I first started, I was actually in my electrical apprenticeship. So I used to be an electrician. One of the apprentices in my class, his uncle, kind of like nudged us to like, hey, you guys should probably invest in real estate, and ended up buying a duplex, house hacked it, lived in half, rented out the other. And that's kind of how I got my start a little over 20 years ago. Did the same thing a year later. Okay. And it kind of continued on my third property. I mean, I don't know if you want to hear the whole story. Or whatnot, but yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess it's kind of cool. Like, you know how you always hear people buying these properties, no money down and all that? Mm-hmm. My first three deals I did, and I didn't even know I did it. So my very first one I actually got a $5,000 loan from my buddy's uncle. Okay. He gave me years to pay it off, but I also got a $5,000 grant from the government. Back then it was like a WIDA type of loan. So I actually lived in that property. So basically, I didn't need to bring any funds to the table. Had a little left over to do a little bit of updating to the duplex, some paint and refinish flooring. Sure. But I did all that work myself. And that's kind of how I got into my first deal. That's amazing. My second deal, I did the same thing. I bought that, no money out of pocket. My first one, I mean, I wasn't making a lot as a first-year electrical apprentice. Back then, I was making like $10 an hour. So it wasn't a lot of money. But I bought it, no money out of pocket, you know? So it's kind of cool.
That is really cool.
Yeah. Second one. So this is back before everything crashed, but this is when banks were giving money away. So we did two loans on it. I did a loan for 80% and a loan for 20%. And same thing. I got into that one and no money out of pocket. I still own both those today. They're both duplexes, and they've pretty much doubled in value or pretty close to that now. But I own those today, and that's kind of how I got my start. My third one was kind of a unique, you know, I had that, I guess we grew up kind of, I want to say poor, like middle class, like my parents struggled a lot. They worked for big companies and they'd either get laid off or the company would downsize. So like I saw my parents struggle, and for me, I always wanted more. I didn't want to have to worry about money. I didn't want that to happen. So I'm like, I had the entrepreneur side in me. So my next property, there's like an authentic Philly cheesesteak type of restaurant down in our area. So I actually bought a building, had a storefront in the front and a apartment in back. So I actually lived in an apartment, and I opened up my own like Philly cheesesteak and custard stand while I was working full time as an electrician. So I did that, ran that for about a year, and then I ended up closing it down. It was just a lot of work. I mean, I was working as full time as an electrician, but then I transferred to like the the Oak Creek power plant. And there we were working mandatory 60, 70, up to like 84 hours a week. It was crazy. I mean, for a month straight, I worked 7, 12-hour shifts, and it's just a lot.
Legal? Can you even do that? Is that legal?
I mean, I don't know, when you're building the power plant, it's kind of cool. See, everybody's like mandatory, like 8-hour shifts. We're actually mandatory 60 hours a week is like what we were working.
Wow.
And you got a per diem if you didn't miss any work. And then if you traveled, I forget the distance, maybe more than 50 miles, they give you another per diem. So I think I was pretty close to it, but I think I got like another $125 a week because I didn't miss any work. But if you missed work, they would like lay you off. And this is kind of right before the crash. Wow. I was working there a little over 2 years. But like there's 300 electricians laid off in the books looking for work near the end of it. And I'm like, most guys, they didn't miss work, you know?
Yeah.
A long time waiting.
Yeah. You miss work. That means you're going to be missing work for a long time.
Yeah. So, but eventually I kind of got burnt out of doing all that. I just started turning down some of the overtime. It was near the end of the job, and I was building like a network marketing business on the side, and had that almost like a full-time teacher type salary job.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I don't need to like work all these hours and doing that. And basically I ended up getting laid off. When I got laid off, I ended up starting like fitness boot camps. Out of one dance studio, I grew it to another dance studio. And then I ended up opening up a CrossFit gym. And that whole time I always saved my rental income and I'd save my network marketing income. And kind of how I got started. I mean, I didn't know about using other people's money, even though I did my first 2 deals.
Yeah, you kind of did it by accident on the first couple. You didn't even know what you did. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it was kind of weird like that. So I would just save my income from network marketing and all my rental income. And as soon as I have enough money for down payment, I'd go buy another property. Okay. That's kind of how I started it. And after I got laid off, like one of my next properties, like I didn't have money I had the money, but I didn't have 2 years income. And that's back when banks were tighter and before like the DSCR type of loans and all that. So actually, you know, I think one thing is like investors and what we do in real estate. I mean, you got to learn to be resilient and like figure a way out. I mean, we're problem solvers. So like, found a great deal on a duplex. I had the money, bank wouldn't finance me. How do I do it? So I ended up buying it in my brother's name. And then he actually lived in like part of it. And so we did that. And then eventually a couple of years later, I refinanced it into mine. But that's why I ended up getting that property. And so
just figuring it out, man.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's probably the biggest thing I feel like we got to learn is like investors. We solve problems and we got to be resilient because we get thrown so many curveballs in life and
for sure
real estate investing and all that. And
well, dude, you've been through some, like pretty much every market, I feel like now, Corey.
It's
like you've been through the boom, the bust, now the boom, now the high rates, the COVID rates, like, I mean, everything that could be thrown at you, dude. You've kind of seen it all now. So you've got all that experience now 20 years later to lend off or to go off of. And I think that is what you said. That's one of the biggest things I think as an investor, like there's always a way to do it. It's just figuring it out, right? Like, okay, well, like political stuff. Like I got like a little political discussion with some people, some friends I know that are on different beliefs than I have. We actually were able to have a good conversation. And I was like, you know what? I don't really care. And maybe this is bad, you know, patriotism for me, but I'm like, I don't really care who's in office or what their policy is. I just have to understand what their policy is or whoever's making the rules. And then I have to just play the game, right? If I play the game, it's fine. We'll always figure a way out to win, right? But you just got to figure out whatever they're going to throw at you. Okay, now how do I use that to benefit, right? And the same thing with the interest rates and everything.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like so many people get wound up. Like who's in office will be a little easier or harder depending who it could be. But I mean, it doesn't really affect what we do. I mean, you got to kind of put your blinders up and just focus on your business and go. You know.
Yep. And like when rates went up, it was like, oh crap, what are we going to do now? Because like a lot of investors stopped buying deals. We're like, well, we'll just flip our own because there was still a lot of demand for housing. So we started doing our own flips. And like you just got to pivot and be nimble in this business. I feel like you can't be so rigid sometimes to be like, this is all I do and this is the only way I do things forever and always. Because it's, you know, as you said, you were doing deals when they were giving you money to buy deals. live it,
And
you
back
know,
then
like,
rates were a lot higher too. I mean, they were in the upper sixes, up to like 7. So like I was buying when rates were high and rents are a lot lower too. Now
right,
rates are a little high, but rents are way higher. So I
right,
mean, there's always a deal out there. You just gotta buy it right. And I mean,
for
I think
sure.
that's one thing that helped me is like you just gotta stay consistent, know your numbers, and get
Yep.
after it. Really, I mean,
Yep, for sure. What going back to, I'm interested to hear like when you got started. So was it really just that from that conversation of the uncle being like, "Hey, you guys should do this," and you're like, "Yeah, let's do this," or
yeah.
was
So I
there
mean,
other things happening that
yeah.
pushed you into doing this?
So I've always wanted to invest in real estate, and like part of it was like watching those infomercials you see on TV. Like I
Yeah,
ended up buying. I was probably 18. I bought a book up, like, and it came in like a little binder, like a I don't know, like the
yeah,
spiral binder type thing that they make. So I bought one of those off like TV, and I read it, but like all that info was like over my head, and it was talking about hard money lenders and all this. I'm like, I don't know what that is. I'm like, hard money lenders sounds crazy. You're paying all this interest, and like
yeah,
I didn't know anybody really doing it.
yeah.
And yeah, so he kind of, I guess the uncle wasn't really in real estate, but he had some condos years ago, and he owned like a candy store,
Okay.
um, and he invested a lot in the stock market. But he's like, you should buy a duplex, and like his nephew bought one, and then I was same time kind of looking for one, and that's
Yeah.
kind of really like the start of it. And then I
Okay.
just kept going, and like his nephew really didn't, but I kept going. I'm like, okay, this like once you I mean, I lived in it and like was paying more than half my mortgage payments. I'm like, okay, this is like it's kind of a turning point. It just clicks like, okay, I can do something with this. And
Yeah.
it helped me like when I was laid off, like we had 3 rentals basically. Um, and I was that and my network marketing money, like it saved me from like it kept me afloat. So like
Yeah.
yeah,
You're
and
pretty
it
much
kept
already
going.
like kind of if your expenses didn't go too high. I mean, you're basically financially free already off 3
Yeah.
duplexes and network marketing income. You know, that's
Yeah.
pretty
So it
wild,
was
right?
like cool. Yeah. So I'm like, wow, okay, I'm onto something. I just over the years, like I had to learn how to like, okay, I learned more about the hard money lending and picked up
Hmm.
private lenders and things like that. And now
Yeah.
like I've been like full time last 10 years. So we've branched out and um, do I guess a lot of things. So I am a realtor, so I do that, and like I've been a realtor going on 9, 10 years now, actually
Okay.
10 years now. Um, and when I first became an agent, I worked with everybody. I do a
Hmm.
lot of volume, 50 plus deals a year, which is a lot for an agent, a realtor.
Yeah.
And it would be like 50-50. Like sometimes it'd be more 50% investors and then regular people, and it would go up and down. But investors are always buying or selling, they're always consistent. So when everybody
Yep.
else is slow, I'm still staying busy because investors they don't stop, we don't stop.
Yeah.
We're always buying, buying
Yeah.
and
We
selling.
we got the itch.
Yeah,
We got the
exactly.
itch. Yep.
So I've been doing that full time last 10 years. And then I started doing more like fits and flips. And um, I did a little bit of wholesaling there. And now we do a lot of, I mean, we still have rentals. So we have
Yeah.
64 rental units right now. I'm a little pickier now, like with what I purchase.
Sure.
Two sides that people always ask me, like, what are my goals now? And it's like, I go back and forth. So right now I keep buying, I like single families,
Okay.
but I keep buying um, rental properties if I can get them free, basically.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm just burying them that way. It's
Yeah.
kind of what I'm doing, stacking single families. But I'm also looking for some bigger, either apartment type buildings, a little bit nicer areas closer to me, or
Yep.
like commercial type of buildings. So I'm kind of saving my funds for that, and I have
Yeah.
properties that I'd offload to trade up if I need to.
Sure.
Um, but in the meantime, like you said, we keep buying. We have that itch to keep going. So if I can buy a rental property and be into it very little to no money out of pocket, that's what I'm doing. Or I'm
Yeah.
flipping homes is kind of my primary, and then working with investors as like an agent.
Yeah. You know what's kind of crazy, Corey, is like you and I, we've been friends on Facebook forever. We were talking about this before we hit record. Like we've never actually like had a conversation. You're in the Milwaukee market. We're like Green Bay, Appleton,
Yep.
Northeast Wisconsin. So like I always respected what you were doing from a distance, and I saw like we're very similar in the way that we love getting properties for free, right?
Yeah.
But now if I'm talking to you, I'm like, dude, we have like really eerie similar stories. Like I did network marketing leading up to getting into real estate investing. I had a gym that was kind of like a CrossFit thing. I was doing like, I'm like listening. I was like, wait a minute, is that am I on that side or this
I
side?
didn't realize you had a gym too and all that. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I went to school for kinesiology in Eau Claire, and then did a little stint with the Wisconsin Badger football team doing strength and conditioning. And I thought that was like my dream job. I was like, yes, my dream job. I hated it, dude. I was like, it's terrible. And then I moved home and I got an opportunity to like start training this dude. And then he had like a little gym in the back of his office. And so he's like, you should start training my employees. And I was like, sure. So I started, I kind of created like my own CrossFit style, kind of like circuit style. But yeah, dude, then it all led up to like doing some network marketing. And then I was like, I didn't really like the network marketing thing after like 5 years. We were doing the same thing. Like we were making good money, but
we were doing good. I mean, we were making over 6 figures at one time. And then a lot of crazy. Like, so it's good, but like it changed a lot over years. We don't do it now. One of the companies I was with, like a lot of stuff happened. Basically, the compensation plan disappeared. So that set a lot of people aside. But for me, like I knew it wasn't going to be like the thing. It's like I knew there was something else. So I'd always invest my money into real estate because that's kind of the sure guaranteed, whether it's long-term investment or cash flow. I mean, it's the way most people get wealthy and create wealth and time freedom. So yeah, for sure. Yeah, that was kind of the same thing. Like I'll say this though, like I never regret our network marketing time. Like I learned so much about like personal development, just, you know, like I was always in sales, but I learned some new things with sales through that process. And like, it was really good. I really enjoyed the personal growth aspect of what the network marketing company we were with was like really promoting. It's probably the biggest takeaway. Like, I mean, I recommend people if they can find a good one, just to learn that, because you don't learn that in like other things. I mean, I feel like going from network marketing to being like a realtor or an agent, like you're like basically self-employed. Most people are working a 9 to 5. It's like, and then you're like, I feel a lot of people want to rush to like get out of their 9 to 5, but they don't know how to employ themselves. They don't have the personal growth and development to get them to that next level and like to employ themselves. So that's the biggest thing that marketing helped me with more than anything, you know, is that personal growth and learning and how to employ yourself. Yep,
for sure. So like I said, I think you're right. It changed a lot. The only thing I regret is all my social media posts during that time frame. I'm like, can I go back and delete those memories?
I know there's a lot of stuff. I'm like,
so cringy.
Right now when I see people do stuff, I'm like, that was probably me in a few
That's
things.
Right. I'm like, that was me 10 years ago or 15 years ago. Gosh, I'm glad I don't do that anymore. But
same here.
That's awesome.
Crazy.
So we're very similar. We're very similar is what I'm finding out, Corey, in this. Not only do we share a name, but a lot of other similarities here. You've got a lot less gray hair than I do, though. So that's
I don't know. I'm getting stressed out the last year or two. Like, you know,
it's creeping up on you. Yeah. Talk about so you're doing about 10 to 20 flips a year right now.
Yep.
Talk about how you're finding those, because we talked a little bit about this, but I think there's some value here for the audience to hear this.
So I did a lot like, so back in 2020, like I started doing a little bit of wholesaling like the end of 2020. Back then we pretty much just did text messaging. And back then it was like, you could send 300 to 400 text messages out and like get a deal. It was pretty cool. And I feel like that market, since it's so low barrier to entry, it got flooded and oversaturated in regulations. Like you could send 10,000 out and not get anything, you know? So we stopped doing that. And then I had cold callers, and that would be hit or miss too. So I was doing a little bit of that, but I'd get a couple deals here, wholesale one here and there, keep one as a rental. And that's kind of how I started doing that, my own marketing back in 2020. But I put a lot out on social media too. So I'll share my ups and downs and like what I'm doing and closing. And I get a lot of deals actually sent to me from just people. I buy a lot from other wholesalers and all that. So I actually, last 2 years, I haven't really done any of my own marketing. It's all word of mouth, all referrals, wholesalers. People bring me deals just because I have a good reputation of like, I'm always going to close. I try to make it easy for people. You know, I feel like that's half the battle. I mean, you get some buyers that can be hard to work with. People whether you're a buyer or seller, they don't want to work with you if you're going to be difficult,
Exactly.
you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So I get a lot of my deals right now word of mouth. And I know as we were just talking, I'm going to start doing some marketing again and kind of got to get my systems down and be a little bit more consistent. But right now, that's all I've been doing that way. And then, yeah.
I mean, that's such a valuable thing that like the reason I wanted you to bring that up, Corey, is like your cost of marketing is nothing right now. It's just
Yeah.
your time, you know?
Yep.
And like that juices that return pretty significantly. Like, I know for us, we're spending about 50 or 60 grand a month in marketing. So
Okay.
we
Wow.
have, I mean, before we're even profitable in a month,
Yeah.
just to cover the marketing, we got to be at 60
Yeah.
grand, not counting employee overhead and all this other stuff. But
Sure.
like for me, if I can get some deals in there that are referral deals that didn't
Yeah.
cost me anything for marketing, right? Like that just helps us so
Totally.
much greater on that profitability standpoint.
Yeah.
You don't have any marketing right now. So anything you're getting is just
Yeah.
purely to the bottom line after you take everything out for your, obviously the flip expenses, but
Sure.
just the acquisitions cost is so
Yeah.
cheap for you. That's amazing. So I
Yeah.
think that's really important. I stress that on almost every episode at the end, hey guys, if you got value out of this, share it, not only for us, but it helps you, let people know what you're doing and blah, blah, blah. And it's true. I don't say it
Yeah.
to manipulate people to share the show. It's like,
Yeah.
it really does help you if you're consistent on social media. You build a brand and people get to know you. Like that's how I always see your posts. Like I'm not even on Facebook anymore, but if I have to go on there like once in a while to like with one of our teammates to like look at my page and help out,
Yeah.
I'll see your posts and it's you and with at the title company all the time, like big smile on your face, got no deal, no money down, right? I'm like,
I do a lot of those. I mean, I don't know. I do those to let people know I consistently buy. So like kind of going back to what we were talking, it's been like every market, so like you can find deals in every market. You can always buy and all that. So like that helps. And then I also try to create value too. And I don't always put all that on like maybe Facebook, but I'll have stuff on TikTok and Instagram. And I mean, I try to do a lot of it on Facebook too. And I have YouTube as well. So I'm trying to do a little bit longer form as well, but it's hard when you're doing everything else too. I mean, it's almost like a full-time job. So like, it doesn't cost money, but it's a lot of time doing that, filming stuff and editing and all that. So like, I don't know how some of the people do that and do like invest at the same time. I'm like, when I get busy, I mean, it's hard. Like,
and to keep coming up with content and all that stuff. Like it is a full-time gig.
It's tough.
Yeah. Well, that's usually the thing we see, right? Like if the cost of the marketing is low, typically you're going to have a high time investment, right? And there's that balance, right? Like like we have TV commercials costs really high, but my time is nothing because I have a third party that does all the ad buys. We filmed it once, done, and now they do it. But that cost is high, So we're seeing that. We did see same thing with texting. We cut texting this year at the start of the year because of a lot of the regulations and stuff. We just didn't want to. We were compliant, we were fine, but I just didn't want to even have any battles with it. And what I ended up seeing was we're doing way more deals this year by cutting cold call and text. At least outsourcing that stuff. We still do some cold calling internally when our guys have time. But now they got the leads that they're following up on are like really quality leads. And so we're converting at a super high rate because they're not getting bogged down with all, you know how it is with text leads. It's like, for the right price, I'd sell. Well, you got to follow up on that, And
exactly. Same with the cold calling. That's kind of why I stopped. It's like the quality is not real high on both. So I'm like,
Yeah. But I love the referral piece. I think that's a huge nugget for the audience to be listening to is just social media branding, telling people what you're doing. You're talking about now on this podcast, you're looking for some bigger multifamily stuff, right?
Yep.
There it is. Like now anybody who knows in that Milwaukee market, listening to this episode, you got a buyer right here. It was quality buyer.
Yeah. Milwaukee, ideally like Waukesha County, Washington County, those areas. We're trying to get out of Milwaukee County for the bigger deals.
Yeah.
We do a lot of,
a little more tenant friendly there.
What's that?
A little more tenant friendly there, right?
Yeah. I've been, I do a lot of like Section 8 rentals now too. I've been switched over the last like year and a half or so. And it's going really well, but I feel like on a multifamily property, like I want a little bit higher quality tenant, something more legacy type properties. And even though the cash flow on these are like ridiculous, it's really good and crazy. I want to start building a little bit higher quality type properties here, and whether it's multifamily or even like commercial, light industrial type. There's a couple I've been looking at and trying to work on. So.
Yeah. Talk about the Section 8 stuff. I think that's another topic we don't talk enough about. Like there's some stigma around Section 8, negative connotations with it. You just mentioned it's been going really well. Talk a little bit about like what are the pros, cons of doing a Section 8?
I mean,
and what is Section 8? If you can explain Section 8 for the people who don't know what
so
it is.
basically, I mean, Section 8 rentals, I mean, basically the government's paying rent for the tenant. So do they pay 100% of the rent? Yes and no. Typically, they're paying between 70 to 100% of somebody's rent. It's based off the tenant's income and all that. I have a couple that, I think I have one that pays, I don't know, like $8 or something like that. It's real low, and then a couple that pay 20, and then I have a couple of people that pay a couple $100, like $200-$300. So it depends on the tenant's current income, but then Section 8, they'll pay the remainder of that. So property, say rents for $1,500 a month, maybe Section 8's paying $1,200 or $1,300, the tenant pays the difference.
Okay.
So basically how it works, I mean, you have an occupied unit. You don't have to have like a Section 8 property necessarily. I think a lot of people think, oh, I need to qualify my property for Section 8. You can find a tenant first, and then you fill out a request for tenancy form, submit that to their caseworker and whatnot. And then after that, all that's filled in, then they'll come out and they do inspect the property. So you don't have to do it before. They're basically looking, if buyers, or if you guys are familiar with like FHA type of financing, it's kind of those safety things. So they're making sure there's no like peeling paint, no cracked windows. You got to have your smoke detectors, CO2 detectors in the right places. It's just safety features and making sure the property's not falling down, and
stuff you should probably do anyway, right?
Exactly. I mean, so for us, I mean, to switch it over, I mean, we try to keep our properties good. So like a lot of times they might flag something little. I mean, if you have wooden windows, you have to make sure you have locks on them. But I think now they actually check the outlets and make sure the polarity is right and little things like that. So they're a little bit pickier, and it might vary slightly depending on your market. But I mean, for the most part, if you're keeping care of your properties, I mean, everybody should be fine. I don't know, there's always something they could flag, but it's usually pretty minor. It might be like, I don't know, loose handrail, or I don't know, cracked tile or something, you know? For the most part, it's minor. And then if it gets flagged, they let you correct it and they'll come back and check it out. And it's pretty simple, honestly.
So what are the for the people that are like just hearing Section 8 for the first time, like what are some of the negative connotations with Section 8 that maybe you had? Did you experience some of that yourself before you started doing
I mean, I think before too, a lot of people, I mean, I've heard this when I was buying rentals. A lot of people think they're going to trash the properties because it is typically a lower quality, not necessarily lower quality tenant, but lower income type of tenant, because the government's helping them out. So a lot of people think that they're going to trash the properties, and it can happen. It can happen with good tenants or bad tenants. Part of why I was switching over to Section 8, I had one year I kind of had a lady helping out, and we placed a lot of tenants, and then I had to go through like 8 evictions one year. I'm like, okay, I'm cleaning house, and a little over 2 years ago or so, and I'm like, okay, I'm switching over to Section 8. I have a team of people that help me with that are like awesome. They've been doing Section 8 for 30 plus years. So they're awesome at it. So can they trash units? I mean, anybody can, whether it's Section 8 or not. What I found is like, for the most part, they take fairly decent care of it. I mean, the hard thing about it for them is like, if they're going to trash a unit and like ruin it and break a lease, it's a couple of year waiting list to get back on like the housing program, and they lose that voucher that they get. So if they're going to trash it, and they don't want to lose it because the waiting list is so long to get that help. I mean, if they lose it off the program, they lose that money.
I didn't know that.
So I feel like for the most part, I mean, most people are pretty good, but there's bad apples and everything. Like I actually just had to evict 2 of them because they wouldn't pay their share, and it was only like $200.
Oh man!
And it was just, sometimes they slip through the cracks. I mean, on paper they check out, and you never know.
You're right. Right.
So, but I've had
that's any tenant though, right? Like
any tenant I've had with others, but the rest of mine, I mean, we have over, I don't know, probably over 15, 20 people on Section 8, and everybody else has been really good.
Nice.
And I have an apartment building in Racine. So I had a handful of people there that were on the housing program racing, and like those were always, everybody's really good there. I haven't had any
Nice.
issues, and yeah.
Nice.
So
That's awesome. Yeah, there's definitely some interesting programs out there. I would encourage everybody here that has rental properties to look into some of the different programs out there. There was another one. I sold a duplex of mine, which I shouldn't have. I should have just refinanced it. But anyway, I did. And I was talking to the guy who bought it, and I was like, "How's the rental? How's the property going?" It was my first rental I ever had, so it's always kind of like near and dear to my heart, right?
yeah.
It's like, "Oh, it's doing great." I got Kevin, the guy he's house hacking it, so he's like, "I got Kevin up to, I forgot what it was. It was some really high rent number." Like, and I was like, "How did you do that?" And he's like, "Oh, he was a veteran, so we got some kind of some veteran assistant rent or something." And it's kind of the same thing with like Section 8. Like they tell you what their max amount is per bedrooms. And so he was able to juice that thing up by a couple $100 a month. And then Kevin, our tenant, actually lowered how much he had to pay every month from whatever he was on before. So, I mean, it was a huge, awesome, like little niche program he found for this tenant. And I was like, dang, why didn't my property manager know about this? So he was there, right? Like I should have been having this.
Well, that's the thing too. Like the other benefit is they typically pay a little bit higher than market rent, depending on your area. It could be 10 to 20% higher. So that's another reason why I've been switching a lot over that way too. And I mean, you get guaranteed. A lot of mine, I'm getting guaranteed rent that like a normal tenant was paying, and then the other share that the tenant's paying is kind of like a bonus,
right?
Some of mine.
Yeah. So. Yeah, that's the thing. Like a lot of people have a stigma too with like upper lower duplexes here in our area. I found, and I love them because you can put Section 8 or we call it ICS, as Integrated Community Services in Green Bay is one of them that basically administers the Section 8.
Okay.
But I mean, they're paying like for like a 3-bedroom. I think it's like $1,400 or $1,500. That same 3-bedroom, if you didn't have that, is like maybe you can get $1,200 or something.
Sure.
So you're getting a few hundred extra bucks a month, again, guaranteed by the government. So it's awesome. A nice way to, you're getting basically like what you could get in like a nice side-by-side duplex.
Sure.
You're getting like those same rents in an upper lower duplex, which is at a much lower cost typically. Yeah. So that's a pretty fantastic program. Management-wise, Corey, are you guys managing your own here, or how are you guys doing the management? It sounded a little bit.
We self-manage a majority of ours, and then I do have a team of guys that are helping me with the Section 8, and they got maybe about a dozen of our properties. Okay. So, and then we manage the rest of them, and like I said, we have 64 units right now. And then they have about a dozen of our properties that.
Okay. So is that a management company then that's doing that, or did they just do like the Section 8 piece and then you manage it?
They're like management. I don't know if they're like official management company, but they do that. And then, so that's kind of their niche. And we've partnered on some deals, and I've done some flips with them before. So like we're close that way. So it's
cool.
Pretty cool. Yeah. It works real well. So.
It's awesome, dude. Okay. What had you decide to do self-management versus third-party management?
So I've tried a lot, like other management companies before in the past, and it's like I feel like you kind of got to babysit them, and then as they grow, it's like I feel like maintenance requests and all that, they just hire anybody, and like it gets ridiculous. So me, like when I first started, every property I flipped, I would keep. So I'd buy them and I'd fix them up and just keep them. So over the years, I built a handful of like contractors and handymen, and which is still a battle today. Like I'm still trying to find good contractors and people for flips and rentals, but I do have a decent network of them that I can just text one of my guys or call them and say, hey, can you check this out? And all. So that's big there. And then we have software and try to get everybody paying online, but we still have. I got a lot of older tenants too and long-term tenants. So I still have people mail into our PO box and all that. So
sure.
But I mean, for the most part, it's pretty hands-off. The hardest part's renting it out.
Okay.
It's probably the most time-consuming.
Okay.
Is that.
Okay.
So, but I mean, if it's up and running for the most part, I mean, you don't get a ton of calls.
Okay.
It's pretty. Nothing's 100% passive, but for the most part, I mean, it's not too bad.
Okay.
I mean, you might get a call once a week or something with the amount of properties we have and things like that. But
do you have any employees working for you on this management side, or is it just you?
So just me right now. I was just talking with another guy. I'm like, I'm going to probably bring on a VA to like do the bookkeeping side of things.
Oh, sure.
I did have somebody helping, like, actually one of my wife's friends was helping for a while, and then they had another baby, and then so I'm kind of doing all that now. But I want to bring on a VA or something to maybe take tenant calls or just help the back end book work and do like my QuickBooks stuff too.
Yeah, nice. So, I have a third party I can connect you with if you want like a company to do it. They've been doing an awesome job for us and all of our different entities. I had one of our VAs doing some of our rental books, some of our LLCs for a while because it's all in Buildium from the management company. So it's relatively like almost already done in a sense. Yeah. But then I went and I had the bookkeeping company that was doing our books for our wholesaling business because there's a million different transactions for that. So keeping that all straight is a nightmare. Yep. And I had them go through and look at like a couple of them and like just so much stuff was missed and not classified properly and all this. And I was like, you know what? It's just worth ironing it out for me.
So are the companies good at that? I feel like a lot of it, like I had to switch accountants like 2 years ago. And it's like, I feel like, I don't know, finding somebody that can understand all that, like as far as like, okay, we're buying stuff, we'll use like private lenders and like, okay, well, this isn't like income coming in, it's like rehab funds. It's like, they trying to find somebody that understands how to classify and all that. I mean, that's
they've been really good. They've been really good about it. Yeah, that was part of the issue with working with the VAs. Like they knew bookkeeping, with like you said, real estate's like a whole different animal of like, hey, this is actually just, refi proceeds. This is an income,
how do you,
your balance sheet, making sure that's all up to date and accurate. And and you know how it is. You got to have good books to get lending from some of the community banks and other places. So like, you don't want that thing to be a mess. I've had it several times where we've switched over the years, tried to save a few bucks on bookkeeping, with like outsourcing it to somebody, or a company that has people overseas that's doing it and doesn't really oversee it too well, and then we end up spending like months trying to just undo all the stuff that it's just like, for us it hasn't been worth it. So I'll connect you with who we use if you just want to chat with them and get a quote or whatever.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely. It's been good for us. So it was a little bumpy at first, but we worked out a lot of the kinks, and then I think they worked out a lot of kinks on their end as far as like staff and things like that, and it's been really good ever since. So awesome. But for those people out there listening, one of the things that I was taught right away when I got into this business from a mentor was like, make sure you get your books in order right away. Like I was like, we'll do it at the end of the year, whatever. And then he's like, you want to do it as you go, because you're gonna forget what happened. By the end of the year, you're trying to reconcile all this stuff. It's gonna be, and as an entrepreneur, it is not my favorite thing in the world to do, is to do books.
It's my least favorite. Like that's my weakness. I got to get better at doing some of that, because I'm like, go. And it's like, which is good in a way, but then I'm like, I got to do this stuff too, that I kind of put that on the back burner. And
that's why I outsource it, because I hate it. So I'm like,
that's like, I'm the same. That's why I
stress me out, man.
With them.
I can feel my blood pressure going up as I'm like, if I mess something, I have to do it. I'm like, I'm getting so overwhelmed. And I'm like, why? It's just books, but it's just something about my personality. I can't do it. I don't know what it is. Yeah. Well, how are you financing a lot of this stuff, Corey? Let's talk about that, because you're getting a lot of your rental properties similar to like our strategy of doing the BRRRR strategy. Talk to me a little bit about some of the BRRRR financing examples that you've had recently.
Yeah. So pretty much what we do is like a lot of them like over the years, and I feel like it's hard in the beginning if you haven't bought a property, but like now it's a lot of private lenders is how we're using like the funds we're using to acquire the properties.
Okay.
So it kind of started with a guy from church, and he had a few rentals, and he's like, hey, if you need help or want to lend, like it kind of snowballed from that. So he was like the first guy a couple of years ago that like just offered. He saw what I was doing, and being on social media helps too. Like I picked up lenders that way. People like, they want to see you have a track record. So like if you're just new starting out, private lending might not be the best way. If you want to try to BRRRR deal, you're probably better buying a property with a hard money lender.
Yeah.
But once you build a track record, I mean, people will come to you with money.
Yeah.
And I know for me, like I've always heard in the beginning, like when I was starting out, if you find a good deal, the money will come. I'm like, it didn't make any sense to me. I'm like, I have no idea. I'd freak out. Like, how am I going to finance this? And think you have to do traditional financing, which you don't. I mean, that's one way. It's the easiest way. I mean, and maybe if you're starting out, I'd recommend maybe you go that traditional way. Just get a track record so people know if this is something you want to do, get your regular traditional financing or DSCR type of loans to, get a couple properties under your belt and let people know what you're doing. And then you can pick up private lenders.
Yep.
But private lenders is a big thing. And then secondary would be like a hard money lender.
Okay.
We had like 6 flips going, and I think I had like 3 or 4 refinances at once. So like, obviously it's for you to use your own money doing all that. It's like you're tying up a lot of funds and rehab funds. So like we have private lenders and hard money lenders that were funding all that. And I think we have 5 of them right now, flips going, where a couple of them are under contract. I think 3 of them, 2 of them are set to close soon, and then we have 3 that are in progress, and then I have 2 more refinances. So it's buying with the private lender or hard money lender as far as the rental goes, and then either a commercial or DSCR lender is what I'm doing to refinance.
Okay.
A little bit on that, like a lot of the DSCR lenders don't like to finance under 75,000. So like then I'll do like commercial type of loans. On that. So the commercial lenders, I mean, they typically don't have a minimum balance, but they're typically 3-5-year arms, amortized over 20 or 25 years. So, but for me, I mean, at those purchase prices, like I don't really mind it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, if you're on 20, 25-year arms too, you're paying a ton of principal off, comparatively speaking. Like a lot of mine are on 30 years now because I just haven't been able to get stuff to cash flow on 20 or 25. So I found a lender, a community bank locally that'll do 30-year. And so I've been doing a lot of those to make the cash flow numbers work. But the downside is like 5 years, you haven't really made a huge dent in the principal. So you're not building as much wealth necessarily as, you know, you could be.
But I mean, what we do too. So like, I guess the other thing I look at is we're buying at a significant discount, so like, that's kind of where some of that is. And then you're chipping away at the principal a little bit, but
right.
So if you buy right, I mean, that helps too.
Well, if you're burning them, like I just did a podcast, Corey, I think it's going to come out before the one before. So the audience would have just listened to the episode prior to ours. Yep. I just did a deal breakdown on one where I'm cash flowing probably $23 a door if I'm lucky on it per month, 2 doors, so upper lower duplex. But I burned it, so I have no money into this deal, and it's got, I think I have 48 grand of equity from right after I've refinanced it. So it's like, to me, that's still a smoking deal for me. Even if I'm making $23, if let's say I have 2 grand into this thing, I'm still that's still pretty good return on.
Well, the other thing too, like people don't get, is you get the tax benefits and depreciation. So if you have a higher income, whether flipping or wholesaling or doing any of that, you buy a property there and you get the regular depreciation, but you can cost segregate it too and accelerate it. So that's the other benefit plus the equity. So it's more on, technically it's more than $23 a door if you factor in all those things, but a lot of people don't see that either. So
well, and the way I look at it is like, we have the wholesaling business, flipping, that's all kind of cash to live off of business, right? And then these rentals, I don't need the cash flow necessarily from them to live off of. So for me, it's really just about starting the clock of getting that tenant to be paying that debt down and get the property to start appreciating. And the sooner I can start that clock, 5-10 years from now, my future self is going to be very grateful that I started that clock, right? Even if they're not going to be like, dude, I can't believe you bought this thing and it only cash flowed $23 a door, but now we've got, 150 grand of equity here. You shouldn't have made that purchase. It's like,
that's the thing. Like we have probably 50% equity in most of our portfolio. So it's really high equity. I mean, which helps too. So if I need to offload something, like I'm going to have funds there, I can 1031 into something else, or I can always sell one off a year and be fine, So, I mean, part of it's coming to buying right. And like I said, I started buying almost a little over 20 years ago. So, I mean, some of those that's paid down a lot in that time. So
that's amazing, dude. I love that. That's so great. Yeah. That's the other thing too. Like I look at cash flow differently now. I've talked about this on a few of the episodes. Like I refinanced an apartment back when rates were like 3% or whatever, stupid rates during COVID. And I didn't cash flow anything on it for like 2 years because every time like a tenant would move out, I'd have to put all that money back in. And then after 2 years, I refinanced and I pulled out like 240 grand on a refi. And I was like, oh, there's my cash flow. Okay. I just had to wait like 2 years to get it. And it was tax free, which is my favorite kind of money. You know, getting that tax free money is my favorite kind of money. So yeah, that's what I love about the BRRRR. I think that's probably what you and I probably have in common there. And you, like you said, you can do a lot with these things. So if you start acquiring them, Corey, now you've acquired over 20 years. Now you've got these little chess pieces you can do all kinds of different things with. Like you can refinance it, you could sell it, you could trade it up, you could do 1031 into a bigger property. Like you can do all kinds of stuff with it. So I'm probably similar to you in that I don't really care when I'm buying it, like what it is, as long as the numbers make sense for me. I know that I don't have to be married to that property. Like I can use that as a chess piece later, sell it, do something different with it, whatever the case is.
Exactly. And at least kind of where I'm at now. I'm like, hey, what's my next move? Like people always ask. I'm like, I'm not sure yet. I'm like, I'm in a good spot where I'm like, I'm looking for these things. I could do this. I could do that. I could do nothing. I mean, like I don't have to buy another one, but if I can get it free or practically free, I'll do that. So we're in a good spot doing that.
Yeah, you just keep taking base hits, and pretty soon you look back and they add up over time, man. 64 units at 50% equity, nothing to sneeze at there, dude. That's pretty incredible.
Cool.
What you've been able to build, man, over time, and you're doing it the right way, which is great too. I mean, that's another huge piece of things here is making sure we're doing things the right way, we're treating people the right way. Yeah, you know, having that high integrity and giving investors a good reputation is super important out there for all of us. So yeah, I love it, man. Well, dude, Corey, this has been awesome, man. I think there's tons of nuggets in here. I always end with a little fun question. And where I came up with this is because we have people out of state that don't really know about Wisconsin, right? And so we want to tell them a little bit about it. So for you, do you have a favorite Wisconsin tradition or place that you like to visit here in this great state?
In here? Oh man, I don't know. I mean, I grew up going to like Wisconsin Dells. That was kind of like our little thing. Like I said, I grew up like our parents didn't have a ton of money, but we'd go spend a weekend up there and have the water parks and do all the shopping and things there. That's probably the biggest thing we would do growing up that I remember. Otherwise,
this is great.
Wisconsin, I mean, there's so much outdoor stuff and parks and recreation. I mean, it's awesome here.
It is.
Sometimes are fun.
Yeah, I was just telling a guy, we had a wedding yesterday, and I was just telling one of the guys there, he does a lot of road trip and stuff like that. And I said, you know what's crazy? We just got back from a 2-week road trip out west, and pulling back into like Wisconsin, it's amazing how green everything is here compared to like a lot of the states out west. It's very brown and like dry out there. And you get into Wisconsin, you're like, holy cow, there's like, if your favorite color is green, you should be in Wisconsin. It's pretty incredible.
Really good scenery. I mean, even like you drive out toward La Crosse and like up north. I mean, just the scenery and like green and I don't know, it's amazing.
Yeah, it is. We have a great state here for sure. Yeah. Well, Corey, this is awesome, man. If anybody wants to connect up with you, whether they have a deal they want to possibly get over to you, or maybe just talk to you about, their own journey, is there a good way for them to reach out to you that you'd prefer?
Yeah, I mean, they could either on Facebook or Instagram. Probably the two biggest ones I'm on there, and it's basically my first and last name. So Corey, and you start Paszk, it should pop up. Or Instagram, I'm Corey, and then Pas. Corey Paz on Instagram, and I'm pretty active on all those, and try to respond as quick as I can.
Cool, awesome, man. Well, very good. And as we said earlier, Corey gets a lot of his deals from social media. And I say this on every episode. If you got some value out of this thing, or you just want to help your own brand, share this episode on your page, or we have different shorts and stuff like that we'll chop up and throw on YouTube. You can share those as well. And if you could do us a huge favor, if you did get some value out of this, going and commenting on these videos is a big help for us on YouTube, and rating and reviewing us on Spotify and Apple, I think, are the two spots that most people will find us for audio versions of this. If you can do that for us, that helps us a ton, and we really appreciate that. Lastly, guys, if you want to get our BRRRR for Beginners course, Corey and I talked a lot about the BRRRR process today. If you want to get that course, we are giving it away for free. Now, we used to sell for $1,900. You can now get it for free. You just got to go to the website, get on the buyer's list, and then reach out to Connor. He's got the code. You got to talk to him. We make you talk to him, but he'll give you the code for free to get that BRRRR for Beginners course. So with that, Corey, we will wrap here, my friend. I appreciate your time. And for all of you guys, we will see you on the next episode.